Hello my dear students, welcome back to my channel. Today in this video we are going to learn class 10 English poem to a pair of Sarus cranes, question and answers. And this will be part 1 of this session of question answers. And earlier we have already seen the explanation and we have understood the explanation of this poem to a pair of Sarus crane. And I'll be sharing the link of this poem explanation in the description box for your convenience. So today we'll continue with question and answers, and let's move on for that. But before that, students, if you're viewing my video for the first time, do subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you get the notifications of my latest videos, and to watch the video till end. And if you like it, hit the like button and share among your friends too. So moving on to the question answers, students, in your textbook you have second main comprehension questions. Under that A category you have answer briefly the following questions. Under that, first question is multiple choice question where you have 4 options, and the question is the time of the day suggested in the poem is dash. A, sunrise, B, sunset, C, either sunrise or sunset, or D, not clear. So when you read the poem, you get to know that it was the morning time when the sun was just rising and the crane was also about to fly and start its day. So from there we can make out that it was the sunrise, the morning time of the day. So here the answer is A, sunrise. Okay, moving to second question. The sun is described as the reluctant sun. It means that, again you have 4 options. So first, what do you mean by reluctant? Reluctant means hesitant, not willing to. Okay, so why was the sun is described as a hesitant one or reluctant one? It means that what was it? What does it mean? So the option is the sun was unwilling to rise, the male bird was impatient, or it was the bird's feeling that the sun was reluctant to rise, or the sun always takes more time to rise than to set. So these are the options, and the answer is A, the sun was unwilling to rise. Means it was just rising slowly and it was unwilling. It was not ready to come out at a time. So this is the answer for the second question. Let's move on to the next one. In the first 4 lines, there is exaggeration in the description. What is it? So when you read first 4 lines of the poem, there's an exaggeration. What do you mean by exaggeration? Where you say something which is impossible, where you say something which is extra and which is impossible, as I said. So let us see what is it. So the answer is the male bird is shown as bending to pluck the sun out from the rim of the horizon. Certainly the bird cannot touch the sun or even reach the horizon. The bent neck of the bird and the eager movements of the bird are shown in exaggeration here. Okay, so the answer is the male bird is shown. As when you go through the first 4 lines, we come to know that the male bird was bending its neck to pluck the sun. Means it was just trying to pluck the sun from the rim of horizon. When you see when you are near the seashore or near the beach, and if you see the sunrise or sun setting, you feel as if the sun is going beyond that river, beyond the water, it's setting there, and that a particular moment or that particular area or the point where the sun is touching the river water is known as horizon. Okay, so it's shown here that the bird was bending its neck to touch that sun there, but it is certainly not possible for the bird to not even touch the sun nor to reach the horizon. It looks like it's nearer, but it cannot. It is impossible. So the bent neck of the bird here and the movements, eager movements, very quick movements of the bird are shown in exaggeration. So to just show the bent neck of the bird and the movements of the bird, here they are using this exaggeration word that it is bending to pluck the sun from the horizon. So this is something impossible and they are just adding on more and more. So here this 4 lines is exaggerated. That is what we have written here in sentences. Okay, so this is your first part of your answer. You have second part again of this question, that what is the figure of speech used here? So when you're exaggerating, you use a figure of speech in the poems, okay, for in the poems to explain it. So here the poetic device, the figure of speech used here is hyperbole. Okay, students, what is it? It's hyperbole. The exaggeration poetic device used in the poem is known as hyperbole. So that is what written here. When you read the poetic devices, you read various figure of speeches like figure, simile, personification, metaphor. In the same way, you are having hyperbole where you use this exaggeration words to show the impossible things, to show something more than what has happened. So that time we use this, and it's hyperbole. Okay, so I hope this answer is clear. Moving on to the next one. How was the majestic neck humbled by the hunter? Such a majestic, such a powerful, such a beautiful neck. How was it humbled, or just wasted by the hunter, or just troubled by the hunter? So the answer is, the neck of the Sarus crane was very long, graceful, and beautiful. At the time when the bird was stretching its neck and trying to touch the sun with its beak, which is impossible for it, the bird was shot in the neck and was dead. The hunter, without paying any attention to the beauty that was lost through his action, the hunter picked up the bird with its hands and jaws crumpled like a piece of paper and threw it into his bag without even looking at it. This way, the majestic neck was humbled by the hunter. So how clearly they have explained here, students, in the answer, that the neck of the Sarus crane, it was very beautiful, long and graceful. But when it was stretching its neck and trying to touch the sun with its beak, and it was impossible thing which you have seen earlier. It was just trying to stretch its neck and start its day. It's actually that what is meant, but here it's exaggerated in this poem. So that time when it was starting to fly and the bird was stretching its neck, the bird was shot by a hunter in its neck and it was fallen dead there. And then the hunter, without paying any attention to its beauty, what it was having and now it's lost, just picked up the bird with its hands and jaws and crumpled, means just folded and just crumpled it like a waste piece of paper and threw it into his bag, which he was having in it, without giving a second look to it, without looking at it. And in this way, the majestic, the respectful, the proud neck of the Sarus crane was humbled by a hunter, was just destroyed by a hunter. So in this way, you can write the answer, students. Okay. Moving on to the next one. The expression picked up hands and jaws suggests, just how we have read the answer, and even in the poem, you have the word phrase picked up hands and jaws. What does this mean? A. Callousness of the hunters, heartlessness of the hunters, urgency of the hunters, or cruelty of the hunters. So among these four options, the correct answer is callousness of the hunters. Callousness here means the insensitiveness, the cruelty of the hunter, where he is very offensive kind of hunter. So here we can get to know that he is how insensitive the hunter was. So it's callousness of the hunter, the answer. Okay. Moving on to the next one. Dash is compared to dirty linen. Complete the sentence using the correct option. So you have to complete here by selecting a correct option. Four options are given here. Is it the proud neck of the bird, the dead body of the bird, the hands and jaws of the bird, or the material of the bag? The first, what is linen? The meaning of linen is cloth. What is compared to a dirty cloth? So when we read the poem, we understand that the dead body of the bird is compared to as a dirty linen. As we keep the dirty cloth, crumple and keep it in the bag, in the same way here the dead body of the bird was just crumpled and kept in the bag like a dirty linen, like a dirty cloth. So here answer will be the dead body of the bird. Okay, moving on to the next question. And set to hatch the blood-stained feathers into a toddling chick. This suggests. Okay, so when we read the poem, we again come up with this line that the female bird sat to hatch with on the blood-stained feathers, thinking that it will have a toddling chick. It will hatch the chicks. So what does this suggest? So we are again having four options: that the female bird was out of her senses after the death of the male bird, the intense love of the female bird towards its male partner, or the foolish act of the female bird, the desperate act of the female bird to bring the male bird back to life. So these are the four options given, but when you read the poem, you understand that when the partner of the female bird was lost, was dead, she was out of her sense. She was in great grief. She was in great sorrow. So that is why she was doing all those things. So the answer will be that the female bird was out of her senses after the death of the male bird. That will be your answer, students. The next one, how is the end of the female crane suggested in the poem? Okay, so after the male bird was shot, even the female crane bird had an end of its life. So how is it? How was it suggested in the poem? So the answer is, the end is very sad. She was always happy, and the death of the male bird pushed her towards the sadness. Grieving for the male bird and sitting on his blood-stained feathers, the female bird forgot to eat and drink and thus became very weak. And the waves of the sea she had never seen carried her away. Okay, so there is a very sad ending of the female crane which is suggested in the poem, and it also mentions that she was very happy before the death of the male bird, but when the male bird died, it pushed the death and news, and the death shot pushed her towards the sadness. She was in ultimate sadness and grief, the grieving for the male bird, and she was to miss, and she had a great grief for the male bird that she did not do anything. She just sat on his bloodstained feathers and thought that it will hatch the young one. And the female bird also forgot to eat and drink because of the sadness, because of the grief, because of the sorrow it had because of losing the partner. And thus it had become very weak. And suddenly the waves of the sea, which she had never seen, carried her away again to its partner. Means the female crane was also dead here. So this is how the end of the female crane suggested in the poem when you read it. So here these were the first 12 question and answers which we have discussed. I hope students you have understood it, and if you liked it and if you felt it informative, do hit the like button, and we'll be back soon with the other part of the question answers. Thank you.